Hi there, and welcome to ReinardSynth episode number 23. Once upon a time, it's a long time ago, there was a small company in Germany that made those electronic organ kits. They still make them, but in between they also produce some interesting synthesizers. I have on the bench a WERSI Pegasus 3 entertainment keyboard. One of those synths that are used by solo entertainers at weddings and parties. Have these auto accompaniment functions and are primarily used to play polkas and waltzes. Okay, I'm a bit mean here, but this is absolutely not an instrument I would buy were it not for the interesting synthesis method used in this instrument and the history of the company behind it. What's wrong with it? Well, this is. Don't worry, I'll get it to do this. Although there are no schematics available for the Pegasus, I did manage to repair it with some common sense. You will see how I found the core issues and how I screwed up the LCD backlight repair, but more on that later.
I completely wrecked it.
Before I go into the repair, I included a longer section where I will try to explain what's so special about this WERSI synthesizer. It was introduced in 1992, where WERSI tried to go with the times and heroically stemmed the onslaught of synthesizers from Japan and the USA, but I fear it was not enough to survive.
See, this is the beautiful horsey side, and that is the stinky bull side. Beautiful horses stay here, and you ugly beast stays there.
The other brands had good sounding synths with more sample memory, and they had one thing that the WERSI synthesizer did not have: filters. The company tried to survive and drifted off making more outlandish organs for a market that was getting smaller and smaller. And then, in 2010, they filed for bankruptcy and were taken over, which continued support for their luxurious organ lineup. They are still in business today. Okay, let's go to the repair. Forgot again to mention that there will be an extended moment of zen. Ta-da! WERSI is a German manufacturer of electronic organs, keyboards and pianos. It is named after the communes where the two founding brothers of the WERSI company came from, Werlau and Simon in Rheinland-Pfalz, Germany. As usual with startups, they built their first instrument in the 60s in the basement of their parents' house. And in the 70s, they became more successful and they moved to selling their musical instrument kits on a larger scale. Their first organ kits were wholly analog oscillator-based affairs, but the 80s saw the introduction of their digital oscillator-based organs like the DX series. Oh my god. This is the music WERSI got associated with. I do not think it helped the brand becoming popular with the cool kids on the block playing in bands. Anyhow, at the end of the 80s, WERSI introduced a new technology and used it for their first digital piano. They focused on techniques to reduce the amount of wave data to store. And WERSI claimed to have found a technique to reduce 300 megabytes of sample data down to 3 megabytes, which could then be reconstructed to sound like the original piano sample. The patent describing this is, as with all patents, not that easy to read, but I will try to explain it as far as my understanding goes, and I will skip the bits I'm still learning about, like the involvement of a 32-pole sample rate reconstruction digital filter. There are two key aspects related to WERSI's synthesis technique: how the sounds are generated and how the waves used in the generating process are created. Sound generation is pretty straightforward. A lot of words are minced in the patent, but the key phrase is: the desired sound is only obtained by superimposing several sound characteristics. Up to 16 of them. This is all done in the digital domain by adding up different samples, so do not look at them as oscillators in the common sense. I've built a small illustration of how this works in a spreadsheet. Not only sine waves are used, but also frequency mixtures that can already contain a large number of harmonics that are part of the final sound. When playing a key, say the central A, we reconstruct for instance, the piano tone by first having a simple cyclic sine wave sample of the fundamental of A, transposed to 440 Hz, of course. And the piano tone is more complex than that, of course, so we add more overtone samples with an envelope to make it more realistic. We also include a short, non-tuned thonk sample to give it even more realism, and presto, we have reconstituted a piano tone based on some samples. We are actually adding up sample values, and the phase of these samples is important. Let me show this. If I mix two sine waves with the same frequency, but shift them in phase a half period, that is 180 degrees, they will cancel each other out. But the other frequencies available in the overtone sample 1, as you see here, is of course still audible. And if I keep changing the relative phase of the overtone sample to the fundamental, things change as well, as we can hear then. This effect is cleverly used by the inventors behind the D-Art synthesis method. That's called digital analysis and resampling technology. Yeah, marketing, I know. We now come to the second key aspect. How are these samples we are mixing together determined and created? These are not simple samples that are recorded and stored in ROM, but they are a mathematically crafted set of waves. Sounds are analyzed, and through the use of filtering, emphasizing frequency bands, clever combining of spectra and phase cancelling effects, a definitive set is created for playback of a piano sound, or strings, or flute, or whatever sound. In 2013 I managed to contact one of the inventors behind D-Art, Mr. Heino Wachter. He explained it to me like this.
Hello Reinhard. Yes, that was quite exciting back then. Much more challenging than today. The idea came from a doctoral thesis I read in IEEE Transactions. I can't remember which issue. I don't have the exact algorithms at hand, but back then we essentially used Muse algorithms with Cahun and Loeb transformations. Because of the spread in the piano, we first had to reverse these in a way that didn't violate the orthogonality relationships. This allowed us to divide larger groups of 60 GB of raw samples on DAT tapes into small temporal chunks and calculate them into common event matrices. From this, a set of orthogonal functions was then determined in a form in which the first harmonics could cover most of the sound. In contrast to the expansion in SynCos with Fourier, we usually managed to use 3 such functions for an entire sound. The actual recordings were then developed into these functions, resulting in a set of complex envelopes for EACH of the orthogonal functions, which were then expanded again for playback, which also replicated the temporal behavior quite well. I can't tell you much more at the moment. I don't have any documentation from that time either. Best regards, Heino Wachter.
Well, that clears everything up then. When wanting to contact Heino again for this episode, I found that Heino Wachter sadly passed away in 2021. I'm slowly catching up on DSP concepts, so when I am up to speed I will try again to understand the fantastic work Heino and his colleagues did in the late 80s. Chapeau Heino. Chapeau. Good. Anyhows, the analysis came up with a set of samples based on which a sound could be reconstructed true to the original sounds and saved a boatload of memory to boot. Back in the 80s and the 90s, sample memory, aka ROM, was the most costly part of a sample-based instrument, so yeah, well done. Note that the concepts used are extremely similar to what Roland used in their famous RD1000 and MKS20. WERSI, and Roland for that matter, was not the only company that came up with methods to save sample memory space. Kurzweil in the early 80s was the first one to come up with a memory saving scheme that garnered them the crown of the best piano sound on the synthesizer for ages. In my personal opinion, having played all 3 of them, Roland RD1000, the Kurzweil K250 and the WERSI Digital Piano, the Roland RD1000 plays the most musically, the Kurzweil most realistically, and the WERSI somewhere in between. So long story short, this technology is also used in this WERSI Pegasus 3, that's why I'm talking about this. It uses much more sample memory, 11 megabytes of them, to cover for other instruments, and I also suspect that more of these samples are just that, recorded samples to be played back. It doesn't make sense to use that complex mathematical analysis methods for short drum samples and sound effects. Okay, talked enough, let's go to the repair. Okay, we established that there's a short on the front panel, and to get there I have to take this whole thing out. Interesting. Move this, and there are some. It. Let's measure. We still have a short. No, 14 kilo. Not short anymore. What was it? Broken. This one is broken. That's the input. Solved. Why this did not break? That's deep. No shorts. This LCD. So I removed the inverter that caused the short. And now I'm going to put it together again to see what's working, what's not working, and then I make decisions on which parts I'm going to replace. So let's go. No backlight. Here the hard disk is starting up. Looks good. And it works. It's without the pass loss.
One eternity later.
start up. Yes.
It's a line broken. Shit. Display had damaged the display. Fuck. Okay, so after playing around I found that the stereo imaging is completely off. It's either center or right, but nothing on the left. It's very low volume. So I think they tampered with the audio board, so I have to correct it. The display I'm going to take out and see if I can repair it again. Oh god. I think they messed something up here, so I'm going to remove all the botches here. This as well, this doesn't belong here. Then see where we are. Sorry guys. So I've replaced the electrolytic capacitors in the audio path. Let's see if this improves things. Don't expect it to solve the imbalance between left and right, but let's see. Pressure on these pins. Completely wrecked it. Just for fun, this is a spare display, but this is only 240 times over 64, not 128. And if I connect it, I expect just the top half to be displayed. Same interface. So let's put it in. And then turn it on. So, let's see what happens. Yeah. Ooh. See? Tips the top half. That's interesting. Bugger off.
Days later.
That's pretty good. Plug it in. First I will take the best light.